Hello and welcome back to Necromancer, and we're going to be taking a look at this fellow right here. He is a marksman of Mirigliano, if I can actually say that properly. Anyway, we have 140 proficiency in every single combat stat, and I'm a bit afraid of this guy, to be honest. If we can actually get up close to this line of troops and actually use Wind of Death or Withering Wave or something along those lines, I should be able to do some pretty significant damage. You can see here that that fellow is a part of Maximilian de Marck's army, and obviously that means that we might have some issues, because he has 111 of those guys. Yeah, actually a pretty significant amount. Anyway, I'm going to leave Fort Bracha for the moment. I actually do want to go back there and try to defend it, but I have something very important for us to do first. That is to go into the Magister and buy many, many spells. Oh yes, many, many spells. So, first of all, someone actually reminded me, well, I already knew that this was a thing, but it kind of reminded me that I needed to maybe make it a little bit more useful for myself to have some kind of self-healing. So, you know what? That's exactly what we're going to do. Heals the caster for 20 health every second for 5 seconds. Petty heal. That's exactly what we're going to learn for ourselves right there. And then otherwise, I'm going to do some other things here. So, for me, I actually think that what we should do is we should try to specialize our necromancers in a variety of different things. Now, obviously, I want them to... I basically want them to spam their spells as much as possible. I realize that this could potentially shoot me in the foot in some ways, because, let's face it, spells can, you know, hit your own troops, which would be pretty bad if that were to happen. But what I'm going to do, I have a lot of money. I'm going to spend quite a bit to get spells for these necromancers. And also, I'm thinking that maybe what would be really cool is if I could make it so that one necromancer specifically focuses on buffing our own troops. And I'm actually wait a minute. No, never mind. A necromancer actually doesn't need to do that. Technically, we could have a vampire do that, or a number of vampires do that. So, for example, look at this. Allies in a 3-meter radius gain plus 20% physical resistance for 15 seconds. Could be pretty useful. Healing the caster for 20 health. I mean, obviously, they're just going to use this randomly whenever they want to, but this could be really useful. So I'm thinking, you know what? Let's do that. Okay, I'm gonna give. Should I give every single? I think that might be too much, right? Doombolt seems very cool as well, by the way. But I was thinking of giving every single vampire petty heal. Then we might be focusing a little bit too much on defense and not as much as we would like on offense. So I'm thinking that maybe what we want to do is do Doombolt with some of them as well. So I'm not sure, because we already have this, which adds 20% physical damage for 15 seconds to the caster. This is obviously really good, because the cooldown is 10 seconds. So theoretically, they will always have 20% physical damage bonus, no matter what, which is actually kind of crazy. That's a pretty significant bonus. But you know what? I'm going to give them all Doombolt. Oh, I obviously can't do that with the necromancers, but we are going to be learning this. There we go. He can learn Shadow Blood. Then this guy can learn Doombolt as well. I actually have no idea how much we actually have to spend, because we can't see gold on this screen. But I'm gonna just wing it a little bit, and I think we probably have about. Should we try to guess? I think I have about 40,000 remaining. What do you think? I had 128,000 or something like that, so I think I have 40. Yeah. Oh, look at that, 48,000. Huh, that was actually not too bad, if I do say so myself. Anyway, I am aiming to get another 90 renown. And you may be thinking, oh, that's going to be very difficult for you to get 90 renown, isn't it? Well, not necessarily. Okay, not necessarily. Let's, you know, hold our horses a little bit, because you never know, maybe I'm actually going to be able to do it. Because if I can get into these battles where we are outnumbered rather significantly, I will then be able to gain probably 30, maybe 40 renown every single fight, if we can get into those particular battles. For example, this guy. Look at this guy right here. I'm actually going to attempt to attack him. He obviously is not going to give me a significant amount of renown, but he is going to give me some really nice experience for our troops, and maybe be able to level them up and make them just that much more powerful, so that we can start to do even harder battles and so on. Anyway, I've actually done a little bit of customizing for my own character here. I've made a couple of changes in regards to my, should we say my armor? Yes, my armor. I have changed that a little bit because, obviously, as I said before, we, well, we died very easily. Yes. We die very easily with Necromancer armor on, so I thought to myself, okay, well, what am I going to do instead? Well, I'm going to put on a little bit of vampire armor and just sort of mix and match. So I have a little bit of Necromancer armor on, and I have a little bit of vampire armor on, and that seems to actually be pretty good. So yeah, I'm kind of happy with that, because we don't now need to worry about getting killed instantly. I have the cape on, Necromancer cape on, and I have the Necromancer's gloves on, and that seems to actually be, I think, a pretty decent balance, because on many cases I'm going to get hit in the head and I'm going to die instantly if I have 2 armor from the Necromancer's hood, and the vampire's helmet gives me, I think, what is it, 38 or 48 or something like that? But yeah, whatever the case, there you go. Oh, look at that. We almost got 10 renown. That's pretty good, actually, surprisingly enough. But yeah, I'm going to take that guy prisoner. We can rescue these, but I actually don't know whether I really want to be honest. Oh yeah, that brings me to the next point. Steward skill. Yeah. Steward skill is going to be difficult to level up if my skeletons do not consume food, which of course they do not. So that is going to be something that I'll need to probably deal with once I get to the next clan tier, because at the moment I'm not really placing that much priority on getting my steward skill leveled up, which might very well be a mistake in some cases. But for me specifically, I don't really care too much about steward skill leveling up at a decent rate at the moment. I have 77 in it at the moment, and generally it's not too bad to just kind of leave it around there, because the party size you can see right here, we had, I think, 53 steward skill a little bit of time ago, and that increased my party size by I think around 18 or something. Maybe 17. I'm not entirely sure, but whatever the case, steward skill is it is good, but it is not going to make us big strides in party size. But I will be leveling it up, and you don't have to worry about that. Unfortunately, this did now get taken, which is unfortunate. That's really kind of bad, but it's only bad because, oh, hello there, sir. You seem to have fallen on hard times. Very good. Okay, yeah, no, actually, I don't think he's fallen on hard times. I think he just merely placed all of his units in the garrison at the castle that he just took. And this has now, well, he's shot himself in the foot. Pretty badly, in actual fact. So this is going to be kind of useful for me. And, oh yeah, thanks to those of you in the comments, by the way, that have attempted to help me with my, shall we say, spell casting positioning, because there are many, many times where I think to myself, yeah, I probably could have done a much better job here. So I'm very appreciative of your feedback in that regard, because it can very much help. So let's just see what I can do here. Something like this. Yeah. No. No. That I could have done a lot better there. Could have done a lot better. Yeah. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. See, now that's the problem, you see. When you have your spell equipped, you can't do anything else. You have no defense whatsoever. It's very, very difficult to survive in that regard, and that's exactly the reason why I said in the previous episode, thankfully these guys didn't have any ranged troops. Because if they had ranged troops, this is exactly what you're going to see. You're going to see me take insane damage really, really quickly and then just get absolutely murdered. And you can see here a lot of my skeletons are literally just dying. Do they actually have the ability to be knocked unconscious? Because from my perspective right now, the only one that I can see that has been knocked unconscious is one of these Black Knights. I'm actually not entirely sure if they are a skeletal unit or not, but every single other undead, quote-unquote, unit is eliminated immediately. So I'm wondering whether that has that is actually a gameplay mechanic. I'm sure someone may shed some light on that, but that would be very interesting, because that means that I don't have to worry so much about my skeletal units perishing in these fights, because it's unavoidable. You know, if they get killed, then they have no chance of survival whatsoever, and it's just a case of, well, raising some more, right? You know, that's the life of a necromancer after all. Ah, yes, good old Jeffrey has fallen again. I will raise him later. Yeah, that's the point. Poor old skeletal Jeffrey. Anyway, let's see if I can actually sell my prisoners here now. We're also going to sell all of this stuff too. I mean, literally, look at how much money we're gaining just from the loot. It's actually kind of amazing. We do have another vampire in here as well, but I don't think I'm going to be getting any additional companions. Bear in mind, oh yeah, this is actually something that I wanted to address. If you want to get more companions, Chaos's Tweaks has a setting for that, as far as I'm aware, and you can do it through that. So that's the way I usually do it. And let's go over here. And oh, actually, you know what? Let's not do that just yet, because I would like to... Yes, give me all of these vampire new bloods, please. But yes, to level up Steward's Skill, I will be recruiting a bunch of Sylvanians at some point. But right now, I'm kind of just looking for the most effective way for us to win fights. And Sylvanians, while they are decent-ish units, they are quite clearly on the lower end of things. So it's definitely something that I would prefer to sort of stay away from right now, because they are just so much better as fodder, and I don't really want to take them into a fight that could be a potential loss. You know what I mean? So I'd rather just have something that we can count on in those cases. Ooh, hello there, sir. Yes, please, can I catch him? Can I catch him? Can I catch him? Oh, we got him. All right, this is nice. Okay, really surprised that we were able to catch up to him in this moment. I really thought that we were going to be way too late, but no, we are very pleased. We're very pleased with this. And I'm going to try... What is actually going on here in the background? Look at that. That's a cool piece of well, should we just say it's a cool structure. Okay, wait a minute. Do they have ranged units? That's the one thing that I'm really... Oh no, I'm worried about these guys too now as well. Okay, let me see what I can do here. Yeah, they do have ranged units. Okay, that worked much better. That worked much better. That was fantastic. Okay, let's see what I can do here. Maybe I can do this. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yep. Yeah. It was okay. All right. It was okay. It wasn't amazing, but it was pretty decent. And yeah, I guess what I could do is I could just summon these guys right behind here. And raise the dead. Grave Call. Oh, we don't want to do Grave Call at the moment. I'd like to do another Wind of Death if at all possible. So let's just wait and see what happens. There we go. Well, yeah, there we go. That is real nice. And yeah, I don't have enough mana to cast another one of those. So I guess what I'll do is just tell everyone to charge in. You can see my my friends, my necromancy friends, are actually doing some pretty nice damage here and there. Gonna cast Petty Heal on myself. Boom. Wow. I love the healing. Okay, I love the healing. I can imagine, and now here's the thing, I can imagine that if you play as, for example, I think it was indeed a warrior priest, because I remember referencing that in a previous episode and talking about Warhammer Age of Reckoning, and apparently there's actually a sort of like a fan remake or something like that. I'm actually not entirely sure if it's the fans that took it and have now made it their own and kept servers online and so on and so forth. But I think it's called Warhammer Return of Reckoning, and you can play the MMORPG that I used to play all those years ago, and you can play as a warrior priest in that game, among many other classes, and they have immense self-healing. And I wonder whether you can actually play as something like that in this as well, because imagine you play as a person from the Empire of Man, you spec into Petty Heal, and you spec into a little bit of intelligence so that you can get some mana. Of course, you're going to need mana to be able to cast, right? And then you focus on having the heaviest armor possible, the heaviest shield possible, and then you only cast Petty Heal when you need, well, healing, obviously, you know, as you do. And I feel like that could be really effective, you know? Could be super, super effective. So maybe maybe that would be something. That would be something for the future, possibly. Anyway, there we go. I think someone actually did mention as well, by the way, that what I might like to do is create a party. So I can create a party out of someone, and then I can have them run around with some of the additional skeletons. Because obviously I had quite a few skeletons in the rescued prisoners tab right there. Now, that's the thing. The only problem with me doing that is that I don't think I can call for an army. Yeah, as you can see, I cannot call for an army because I am a mercenary. And that is the only thing preventing me from creating my own party. Because if I do create a party, it means that I'm sending away one of my very valued companions. That companion is probably going to be, well, I'm not going to mince words here, but the companion is probably going to be pretty useless. In many, many cases, the companion will pretty much just run into the first extremely powerful enemy and get themselves killed. And that is obviously something I'd like to try and avoid, if at all possible. Because we've invested quite a lot of money in some of them, and it would be quite nice to sort of maintain the you know, the amount of companions that we have in our army at the moment. But anyway, the point is that's the reason why I'm generally not creating a party, to make the most of all of our skeletons that we're gaining at the moment too. Even though it is a huge waste for us to basically just leave every single time and not take those skeletons, it is definitely a huge waste, I agree. But I don't see what I can really do otherwise, because I would like to, you know, actually call them into an army. You know, I'd like to call them into an army and see what we can do with them. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't think that's going to work right now. So, look at this guy. He's actually advanced. He's now an adept. He can cast Withering Wave. Yes, there we go. That is what we want. Okay, that is actually really, really nice. Yeah, let's see if anyone else has leveled up. This guy hasn't. Okay, that's fine. We could get this guy something else, but they have such little amounts of mana at the moment anyway that I feel like giving them any more spells is not really going to work too well for them potentially. So I'm going to just leave it the way it is right now, and we'll just hope that they can continue to... Oh, this guy has nothing. Wow. Yeah, it's probably because he's just joined us actually, but yeah, hopefully they will continue to level up, and then we will see them get the ability to unlock additional spells and things like that. Okay, so I have a question. How do I unlock other magic? So for example, let's say that I want to get, I don't know, Soul Stealer or something like that. Let's say I want to get this. It says unfamiliar lore here. I can assume because it's an entry in the spellbook that I do have the ability to unlock it, but I'm actually not sure how to do that. Do I buy a scroll? I'm thinking that maybe yes, it might actually make sense for me to do that, but let me see which one. That is the only thing. I mean, do these actually have any... I have no idea, you see. This is the main problem. I have no idea. The art of speaking with your mouth closed. Okay, now this is giving me insane amounts of weight. That is obviously on... Wait a minute. This is the only thing that gives insane amounts of weight. Okay, I think that might be a bit of a bug, possibly. Let's go for naked and unafraid then instead. Okay, so let's actually see how this works, because obviously I have never done this before. Only in the older game, Warband, that I've learned how to read things. Let me see. Okay. Reads. Aha! There you go. How easy. Very nice. I love that. All right, so let's read the scroll. Selected naked and unafraid for reading. Okay, so that means that I can basically just wait here for some time. Yes, I think I can do that. Yeah, so we can... Yeah, look at that. Look at how fast that is. Whoa! We are reading that like no one's business. That is real nice. Okay, so we've actually completed reading it. Naked and unafraid does seem to have given me athletics skill, possibly. But is there actually something else that it gives me? It seems there is nothing more to gain from studying. Okay, well, there you go. Okay, so that means that that's done. I really like the speed at which we're reading as well, by the way, because in the older game, you would take multiple days to read one thing, so it's actually pretty nice to see this. Okay, I think I would actually like to get some more writing skills, so I'm gonna buy a scroll that increases my writing skill. This is actually a really nice way to do things as well, by the way, because whenever I play Bannerlord, I think to myself, it would be really nice if I didn't have to go out and level this particular thing just specifically for one purpose. And this scroll actually, yeah, look at this. I'm gaining writing skill just by reading this book. And it doesn't give me a huge amount, but it gives me enough to really make an impact. You see? Because I have 75 writing skill now. I had 70 or something like that before. So it's actually really nice. And let's see. Mounted infantry, increase your party speed. Sounds decent, I suppose. And otherwise, increase my endurance attribute. Yes, thank you. Okay, that's definitely going to be very useful for me. And otherwise, I suppose the best thing I can do is probably level up my polearms? I really don't know. We have such low skill in basically everything. I mean, we have very low attributes. And yeah. I guess we'll just have to do what we can do. And otherwise, let's now go into enemy territory and see if we can find some more vassals. I think I'm actually not... not this vassal, thank you very much. He's way too powerful, of course. Over 1,100 troops in his army. But I might be able to swing around and maybe cut off a bunch of vassals that might be trying to join his army, if at all possible. Or I could just go and fight these guys. I mean, I don't know why I would. Maybe level them up a little bit? I don't know. Yeah, it doesn't really seem that important. Ah, hello there. Okay, this is perfect. Oh, I love the fact that the AI doesn't run back into the town. Usually that's what they do, but thankfully this guy decided not to, so I can assume that he had an overwhelming need to go and join the army nearby. That was probably the reason for it. But yeah, okay, let's do this. Let me see if I can get close to these guys without actually getting completely murdered. And let's try for a wonderful wind of death once again. I'm going to try and be a bit sneaky here. I wonder where they're going. Are these guys literally just wanting to run away? Like, completely? Because it seems like that's exactly what they're doing. Oh, they were just trying to get a more defensive position. Okay, I respect that. I can definitely respect that. Well, that was actually not too bad, if I do say so myself. And now what we can do is we can heal ourselves. Boom. Oh yeah. I like it. And now, Withering Wave. I'm actually going to cast it on these cavalry. Does it not go around in a circle? I actually thought it went around in a circle rather than go in a straight line, but I guess... I mean, it is a vortex, right? So it being a vortex is, of course, going to go possibly in random directions. Well, that worked very nicely, didn't it? Oh, yes. It certainly did. And I have enough... do I have enough to use Withering Wave once again? Yeah, I think I do. Just enough. Doing a little bit of damage. Yeah, not as much as I wanted, but... Well, I've done enough, I think. I've done enough. Let's just use my last mana to heal myself once again. And there we go. Now, bear in mind, I would have absolutely gotten murdered here if I hadn't learned the petty heal spell. So it's actually really nice that we have that now. And hopefully I'm going to be able to do a little bit of bonking damage with my polearm. And that's also, by the way, the reason why I'm on a horse. I know someone actually complained that I was riding on a horse all the time. And, well... That's the kind of character we are at the moment. I mean, I can run around on foot, but my polearm is going to basically be useless at that point because it's just way too slow, as you can see right there. My polearm skill is very, very low as it is. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I can try it. I can try and run around on foot, but I think I mean, with the exception of the horse obviously making all the difference when it comes to how fast we can actually move, my athletic skill is actually kind of amazing. It's pretty high ranked at the moment, so I wouldn't be surprised if it actually provides me just that much more mobility. I think I'm just going to speed things up. There we go. And that is indeed that. Yeah, so I have 46 in polearms and 80 in riding skill. Yeah, so I have 180 in athletics or something along those lines. Did we actually get to the next clan tier, though? That's the question. I don't think so. I think we're still pretty far away from it. I am unfortunately still not getting into these fights where we really need to. You know, the fights that actually provide us with 30 renown every single time. But, you know, some of the time you just... You can't really determine that, can you? No, you can't really determine that. Anyway, I'll take all the prisoners. Thank you. Take all the loot as well, because the loot definitely is more than worth it. Let's take a look at our renown. Oh, look at that! I'm only 30 away. Oh, now that is amazing. That's very, very cool. Okay, Sigismund, do you have 30 renown for me, sir? Actually, I cannot fight him right now. It is not a good idea to fight him right now because I have no mana, which is also something that I have very much enjoyed, to be honest. The fact that the mana is a very finite and limited resource when you go into a battle, because obviously when you go into these fights, you really don't want to have a situation where you're gaming the system in such a way so that you only have one thing. You know, you have one thing that you're focusing on, and that is, of course, in some cases, magic. And I'm not saying that, you know, allowing mana regeneration in combat is bad, but it does add a somewhat more strategic layer to the whole thing. So, you know, for example, if I go into a fight and I know that for certain I only have a small amount of mana to use, then it's actually pretty cool when I can make, you know, an attack that would have otherwise failed work just because I feel like I've used my spells effectively enough to overcome the deficit in combat strength. So that's actually one of the reasons why I really like the limited mana. Okay, so let me see. Where are the enemies coming from? They come from over there. 400. Wow, okay. They're very far away. I'm actually wondering whether I should just tell my forces to charge in at this point, because I'm thinking maybe that would make sense. I don't really know. But, yeah, actually, this is the thing. If I were to get off my horse, you know what's going to happen? The enemy is literally just going to swarm me. They are just going to swarm me, right? Yeah, 100% in my opinion. Anyway, let's see if I can do another wonderful Wind of Death. Okay, no, never mind. They're actually moving. I love the way that the... What could you call this? The spell indicator? Spell targeting icon? I don't know. System? Whatever. Anyway, this thing, I love the way that it glows along the ground. That's actually really... I know it's not supposed to be atmospheric, but it looks very mystical and very, well, magical. Yes, it does look very magical indeed. And I like that a whole bunch. Okay, can these guys actually stop moving so that I can do some damage to them, please? I actually wonder, are they... They're not seriously thinking about charging us, are they? Just straight up? Really? Surely not. I mean, I have a lot of cavalry. I have 45 cavalry at the moment. Oh, it seems like there's some friendly fire going on among our ranks, which is not particularly good. Alright, I'm going to tell my forces to charge in because it seems like the enemy's infantry just doesn't care. Yeah, that was interesting. Nevertheless, okay. Well, whatever the case, we're just going to summon a couple of skeletons right here. Summon all of our other undead friends, and we'll just get them to do the damage that we need. Oh, look at that! Seems like I've gained some relation with someone as well. Well, that's pretty nice, I suppose. Anyway, we did gain 18 renown, so not as much as we wanted or needed, but that is still pretty decent, if I do say so myself. And otherwise, I could take more of these, I guess, but yeah. Yeah, that's the point. I mean, that's the thing. If I create a party, they're just going to run around randomly and get themselves killed, so that was the main point there. But once we have an army, yeah, then I think we'll probably do something. We'll do something with that. Alright, so apart from this, we can ransom our prisoners. There are a lot of companions here that could be really, really useful to us. We're going to sell our loot. Sell all this as well. And we've got 80,000 once again. How much money am I actually making from it? The mercenary contract's actually kind of surprisingly low at the moment, because I have eliminated a lot of enemy armies at this point, and we're getting some pretty good influence as well, but unfortunately it seems like my mercenary contract is really not paying out as much as I would have imagined it would. But well, maybe some things happen, and generally you're going to get less and less or something. But yes, we want to do something that is going to increase our speed in forests, and we're also going to decrease wounded party speed penalty. That sounds about right to me. And you can see here, look at that. We are only 12 renown away. So that means that once we hit the next clan tier, I will then be able to go into the town and recruit from the regiments of renown. And that is going to be amazing. And we're going to save that for the next episode. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.